Hello there and welcome back. I was recently thinking about how life really does work for you and not against you. Rumi says that the wound is where the light enters, and from my own experiences, every rock bottom or every moment of despair or deep suffering I have felt in my life have been these amazing keys to my further growth and awakening and expansion. And actually, I have such a deep sense of gratitude and love for these events that, at the time were difficult. I was in pain and it was hard and they were not pleasant, but being where I am now and looking back at those moments, I would do them over and over again 1,000 times if it would lead me to where I am now, because all of those moments of deep despair and grief and suffering have led me to this moment where I couldn't live like this anymore. I couldn't keep going on in my life, seeing all of these issues around me and letting them impact me so deeply. I just knew there had to be a better way, that it couldn't be like this. And whilst for some people, obviously, they don't need to reach that despair and that deep pit, but for many of us, I think sometimes that is where the light enters us, in those deep moments of despair. So if we change our mindset about circumstances and events and see them as wonderful opportunities of growth and expansion, rather than proof that you're this limited being who is a victim of the world around you, you open yourself to just wonderful, amazing opportunities. Gabby Bernstein says that all obstacles are diversions in the right direction, and I used to really struggle with this. I used to look at my circumstances and my life and think, how can this be going in the right direction? Like, this is terrible. I had so many judgments and beliefs around these events that they had to look a certain way in order for perfection to be achieved. And it's just not the case, because perfection is already in everything. It's inherent in its nature. It's just our individual selves see these events and judge them good or bad. We add the colour onto them. And I know it's really difficult to see how circumstances can be perfect. I do really understand that. But Anita Morjani, in her book Dying to Be Me, had this really beautiful analogy where life is like one huge tapestry, and it's beautiful. It's a massive tapestry and it's full of vibrancy and there's lots of images and imagery, but it's just perfect. It's whole and complete, and you can look at this tapestry and go, wow, what a picture. But we are all an individual thread on that tapestry. All we can see from our limited perception and being is that one tiny thread that's threading through the tapestry, and it makes up the whole of the tapestry. Without our thread, that tapestry would not be complete, would not be whole. So we don't have the perception, because we believe we are a single thread rather than believing that we're the tapestry, the whole tapestry. So we can't see from our own individual perception how everything is perfect, because we can only see what's on our single thread, the threads next to us. Just knowing that our lives as an individual body are making up the perfection of the whole. In fact, we are of the whole. We come from the whole. Just has helped me really break down this notion of what is perfect and seeing the world in a perfect way. Because we can't, as an ego in a bodysuit, really understand the whole picture. We can't see how everything is working out and everything is on schedule and everything is just brilliant, just the way it is, because everything arises from the whole. We're not all individual consciousnesses. We come from the one consciousness, which creates everything. I truly think that everything is happening for our awakening, good, bad, sad, mad, all. I just think that they're all wonderful lessons, because when you do find resistance to what is, then that is an indication that there is something within you that hasn't forgiven the circumstances or perceives it in a certain way. And that perception that like and dislike, those beliefs, they are the ego, they're the colouring of the truth. Because the truth is just open, it's empty, it's perfect. But these beliefs of good, bad, right, wrong are the coloration of individualism. And we're not individuals, we're not those single threads. We are the whole tapestry, we're part of the whole wonderful picture. And by being able to let go of what we perceive right and wrong, we are able to look at this wonderful tapestry. Some ways I think that could help you reframe adversity is to know that your external reality will not fix what you're feeling internally. I know we believe that having money and having a partner and all these things show they would make me feel successful, they would make me feel happy. And yes, they might for a certain extent of time, but it's those deep inner beliefs that aren't making you happy, that aren't making you successful. And you have to change those internal beliefs to be able to enjoy the external reality. Do you think that perhaps seeking fulfillment in external reality is actually fulfilling? Because we know that everything in this life is temporary. Everything has a start and end date. We see it in all parts of life. Everything from trees to food even goes off, all of these things. And so by investing your happiness in external realities, that won't last forever. They won't last forever. You just keep yourself in this cycle of pain, really. A pain of wanting things to look a certain way in order to create your happiness and fulfillment. Whereas if you found that happiness and fulfillment internally and you brought it to every external reality, you would be able to allow these external realities to come and go, to be exactly as they were, because you would be bringing that happiness to them. And therefore that happiness that you find internally is so sustainable, it's actually everlasting. You can have that for the rest of your life. But to divest it in external experiences, it keeps you in these short periods of happiness, and then it's searching and worrying and hoping for something else to occur. And being able to rely on yourself in that way, to be able to bring your happiness to life, to events, is just so liberating, and it's so freeing, because you really just don't need anything. You don't need anything anymore, and you can enjoy things so much more deeply and so much more presently, because you're bringing yourself, you're bringing your happiness, you're bringing your love to it. And you're not demanding that this circumstance be anything different than what it is, because you're the love in the experience. The experience is no longer the love bringing itself to you, but you bring yourself to it. And thus anything can be happening in your life. And you're just this peaceful, blissful presence of it, because you know that everything comes from you. And that's just so liberating. It's just so freeing, just to be able to not worry about what's happening or what X, Y, or Z, because you have yourself. You don't need anything else. Another way to reframe adversity is to allow everything to be as it is, to really feel what you're feeling in that moment, and to not shy away from it, and to not feel it in a way that you want it to change or you want it to be different, but just to be aware of what is coming up in your body and what it's bringing, what's it arising within you. Our pain really is a wonderful gateway and portal to the knowing of our true nature, because it is showing us what's wrong in a way. There isn't anything wrong with how you feel. But if you are perceiving that it's wrong, then there is something wrong with that, if that makes sense. So if you are feeling sad and you start to feel this judgment towards yourself, why are we feeling sad? We've got all these wonderful things going on, or whatever it is. That judgment, that belief that it's wrong to feel this way, is resistance is ego. Because if sadness were to arise in your body and you were resting in that place of knowing that everything is happening for your highest and best, you could look at this sadness and go, this is just asking me to go deeper into the truth, deeper into my knowing, deeper in residing in my nature. It's reminding me that I have divested myself into experience, and I'm looking into experience for happiness and peace and joy instead of within. And I'm going to sit with this right now and just allow this sadness to be. And that in allowing the emotion, you allow it to dissipate as well. This is all laid out in David Hawking's book, Surrender and Letting Go, which is a really brilliant book about watching, allowing, embracing your pain. And actually, I mean, again, the end goal is not to get rid of it, but you do find that by sitting there and allowing it to be, it does eventually dissipate. And that when that event may happen again, or something else that would trigger that sadness occurs again, the sadness will arise, but it might not arise in the same intensity. And then as you do this more and more, those events will occur and the sadness may never arise again. And I have experienced this for myself, growing up as a girl. I had a lot of anxieties around my social image and all these kind of things, and these deep-rooted beliefs and this need for validation and purpose and popularity from other people, that when I sat with it and allowed this need to be popular and liked and appreciated by others to just be, I was eventually able to sort of surrender it. And now my relationships with friends, the way I approach social situations is just so completely different now, because I don't feel the same anxieties that I used to, that I needed to be perceived a certain way. I needed to look a certain way in order to invite wonderful opportunities into my life. So I can really attest to the fact that just sitting with your emotion is a wonderful way to reframe your adversity, reframe your suffering, reframe the difficulty you're going in, and remind yourself that this is all happening for your highest and best. And it's happening to get you deeper, to get you to the truth, to get you to knowing who you truly are. The last thing really to say about adversity is also to know that you're not alone in this. Whilst you may be physically in the world alone, in your room or wherever it is you may be, on a energetic level or in a vibrational level, you're not alone. You're not this individual body consciousness sitting in your room on your own. You're everything. You are everything, and everything is you. And you're connected to everything. And the internal light you're seeing within yourself, which is boundless and open and free, is in everything else that you're seeing, even the tiny rocks on the ground, to your parents and the Dalai Lama. Like you are all the same. And I have found this notion really interesting and life-changing, really, because I used to feel so lonely. I used to beat myself up if I was alone on a Friday night and feel this just terrible need to be with other people, and I would sacrifice my happiness and my peace in the attainment of just hanging out with people and being around other people. But when you know that you're one with everything, that you're actually never alone, being lonely is no longer frightening or scary, but it's sort of peaceful. Again, it's peaceful because you're supported, you're surrounded in this wonderful, loving energy. I do believe that there are dimensions and densities, and we're in a third density. But that then means that there are these fourth, fifth, sixth dimensional beings that are all around us. That there are all of these helpers and spirits who used to be third density beings on other planets or wherever it was. And now their job, as they've awakened, as they've peeled back the layers and they're returning to this true oneness that is they're here to help. And there are so many books, there are so many teachings that originate from these beings. And I have found just reading those and getting into that understanding that, you know, we are surrounded by love always. And even if you don't see it in the fact that you are everything, just know it in the fact that there are other beings around us. There are other beings in this energy. And if you believe in angels and ascended masters and all those kind of things, know that they're there for you too. And that they are always just a prayer, a journal, a contemplation away. And when you start living in this alignment and knowing that everything is happening for you, nothing is happening to you, you can really relax back, and you no longer need to sort of force your way through things and sort of bulldoze things into reality. You can sit and wait for the inspiration to drop in, and the inspiration can come from whoever you want it to be. You know, there's no right or wrong here. We're all just trying to remember the truth of all who we are. We're all just trying to be happy and loving and free. And that is our essence. That is our being. And it's surrounded by us in love. And all we have to do is just surrender to that. Know that that's our true nature, and everything can come from there. And you will get that inspiration. You will get that knowing of what to do, where to go, who to see. You've just got to surrender and know that you are guided, know you're supported, and know you're never alone. Thank you for joining me today. I really do send you so much love and light and blessings, and I hope that these little informal chats help in some way, help reframe whatever you're going through at the moment. And it would be lovely if you would like to connect and talk. I'm always looking to have these wonderful chats with people because I find them so uplifting and inspiring and loving, and it's truly wonderful. So please do think about following me on Instagram or dropping a message or a comment below. I'd really love to get to know you and to talk about these wonderful concepts. Anyway, I wish you a lovely, wonderful, light-filled day today, and until the next time.